Hello everyone, I hope your FR paper has went reasonably well, and even if you think it has not, trust me, as CAs doing conservatism, we tend to overplay our mistakes and underplay all the things that we've got correct. So trust me, whatever is gone, and you will almost certainly be pleasantly surprised with your FR results as long as you focus throughout these 6 papers. Now, yes, we will kind of, if required, do a very quick overview of the FR paper, where from the general feedback that we get from the students, it appears to be kind of a moderate paper with relatively trickier MCQs. Descriptive section bearing a question or two was manageable, but the MCQs were quite tricky, and as always, the FR paper continues to be a lengthy paper. Having said that, if we were to focus our attention now more into the AFM part, because that is what is lying ahead of us, no matter how detailed post-mortem you do right now, and even if I tell you you should not do it, I know most of you will go and do it, and then probably you will later regret. But again, it is my duty to tell you that please, no matter how tempting it appears, try to shift your focus into the next paper, and that is what really is going to help you. So here we have with a bonus 1 day more for your AFM. So typically you're almost always stuck with 1.5 days. This time around we have a slightly different 2.5 days, and as a result you have a little more time to do AFM, and it is very realistic to say that we will be able to complete everything, including all the important questions. So what should be the sequence that we should study? What are the important questions? Should we do theory? We'll try to address all of this in this quick video. Again, we will share all the important links of our revision videos, the playlist for all the chapters along with important questions, our Super 99 important LDR questions, everything in the Telegram channel, the link for which I'll share in the description. So in your AFM, you have 2.5 days. So today's day, I would say that the earlier you get into the AFM mode, the better it is. Typically, if you are in a position to go into AFM directly, I would strongly recommend that you spend today's time in doing the security evaluation chapter. It is one of the big chapters. So what we have tried to do is the 3 really big chapters: a security evaluation, then you have foreign exchange, and then we have derivatives. The 3 big things we have kept on 3 different dates. So if possible, you will try to do security evaluation today, and along with that, I mean, as a lighter topic, you can do business valuation chapter. If you want, you can start with business valuation. It happens really fast, close to half an hour to an hour, and then go into security evaluation, whatever it is. But as soon as possible, you get into the flow. We have given up certain focus areas over here. Should we refer and do each and every question? Generally, even with 2.5 days, you will be slightly short on time, and hence I would recommend that you focus a lot on the important LDR questions that you would have marked. If you have marked, if not, I've shared the important LDR questions on the Telegram. Otherwise, from wherever you have studied, there would be certain important LDR questions. You ensure you focus more on those. And if there are certain other questions where you have marked important adjustments, do that. So initially on the first day, we tried to do security evaluation as well as business valuation. Next, on the next day, with a fresh mind, we pick up mergers and foreign exchange. So mergers kind of flows well with security evaluation done. So you will first finish off mergers, will happen relatively faster. And then you go to the big foreign exchange. Now, foreign exchange is one of the most daunting chapters for students to complete, whether it is during revision or before the exams. So you ensure you allocate close to 5 odd hours into foreign exchange. Ensure that you kind of get the basics right, how to pick the bid rate, ask rate, the parity theories, how to determine the forward rates, money markets. Get the basics. There would be certain areas like in fate of forwards, you might have early delivery or late cancellation, which might be daunting, which is fine. Remember the basic steps and principles and proceed. Ensure that you don't get stuck up or fixated in one particular area. Like you have seen in FR, AFM is also a fairly big paper, and it is not necessary that everything that you're studying is going to turn up on the paper. So ensure that you kind of keep on turning the pages. Don't get stuck up, because there will be areas where you will say that, oh, I've forgotten the steps. Don't get fixated over there. Okay, that's fine. You read it and you proceed on to the next thing, because you have a very finite amount of time, and if you kind of try to deep dive now, that is kind of very risky. So ensure that there would, I'm telling you because I know that there would be certain areas, and the most common thing that we get as messages from students after the FR paper is, sir, in AFM we started well, now we don't have enough time, we are feeling lost. The only way you can bypass that is acknowledging that there will be certain areas which are difficult, reading them, and then proceeding on to the other areas so that you keep the momentum going. So ensure that you kind of keep this timeline in mind. After that, you try to do advanced capital budgeting, which is more of a method like sensitivity, etc. You kind of finish that. And then international financial management, which has both areas of capital budgeting as well as foreign exchange involved. Currently, I've not given any separate allocation to theory. I've kept it at the end because the later you do theory, the better is the retention. Then you move on into portfolio and mutual funds, risk management and derivatives. If you want, you can actually, this is like something that you can do in the first half. This is something you can do in the second half, or you can swap it and do derivatives and interest rate first, and then portfolio, mutual funds and risk management later. So whatever it is, these are the two sections that I want you to cover. Now, if you have some time left, on the third day, try to do securitization, startup finance as well as financial policy theory to the extent possible on this day, as well as try to touch that upon on the next day, because out of the theory questions that will come, and we have two videos, one for the core theory topics, these 4 topics like financial policy, risk management, securitization and startup finance, of which at least 1 or 2 questions are definitely going to come up in the theory, almost certain. And then from the remaining other topics, there can be 1 or 2 questions that can come up, and you don't have time to go through everything. So you can refer the compiler along, or you can refer the video. Needless to say, you'll refer it at 2x. Given a choice, you'll do it even faster, but nevertheless, you can refer the video so that those important points are kind of covered over there, or you can kind of quickly refer the theory. But at least for these 3 or 4 chapters, the core theory chapters, that is part 1 of our videos, ensure that you do it properly. For the other, there is a vast ocean of theory out of which something can come up. It's like needle in a haystack, and as a result, you can probably focus more on the core theory topics. And I've kept a separate allocation of close to 4 to 4.5 hours of theory, so that just in case your practicals are here or there, theory kind of acts as a buffer and you can complete that. A lot of students have also messaged that because we have 2.5 days, should we do some audit? I would strongly recommend not doing that. You have 2.5 days, utilize it for AFM. For audit, there's 1.5 days that you have. In that flow, in that momentum, that is best done accordingly. But if you still think otherwise, I would say not more than 1 to 2 hours today, and maybe you can utilize the buffer that we have allocated over here for that. At the end, before your exams, ensure that you kind of review the formulas, especially for chapters like portfolio, etc. Do the formulas, just touch upon that and see that the smaller issues of what has to be added, subtracted, etc. is clear. Okay, so this is regarding your sequence of chapters, the hours that you should allocate to each of them. Ensure that when you're doing, trust me when I tell you 4 to 4.5 hours for valuation, because you're doing it first, and again, not taking away the burden that you have today. You would be mentally exhausted after giving an FR paper, but trust me, don't let it be that excuse. Remember, you want to give your best now. You will have enough time to relax after 2 weeks. So even if you're exhausted, tell yourself, wash your face, take a few deep breaths and get into the grind, and that is the best way you build up momentum. If you kind of be a little more relaxed, it might, you don't know how much time it will take. So ensure that you kind of give in your best, and I'm sure you are going to do well in your AFM paper. This is invariably considered to be one of the most scoring papers. Again, you will hear a lot of trends from your friends that, oh, AFM has been scoring earlier, it will be difficult. Don't do trend analysis. I'm telling you, not I don't know, nor do my colleagues or other friends and faculties on how the institute is going to set the paper or how it is going to correct. So that kind of trend analysis is not going to take you anywhere, but sitting in front of the book and covering those pages, it is definitely going to be the best and the sure shot formula for kind of getting your desired result. So I will leave you with some bit of confidence, and I want you to have that positivity with you no matter how your FR paper has gone. One of my worst papers in my final CA was a paper called as MICS. I thought that this was probably one of the worst papers, and I ended up scoring the highest over there. So don't be the paper checker. Let the paper checker do that job. Do your work right now, and you're going to do well. Okay, chalo, bye bye. Take care and keep rocking for your AFM.